I got into modding games because I originally built a PC to work on videos for a YouTube channel I no longer talk about that was somewhat popular, but not really popular. It was like kind of a niche sort of thing. And while looking through the Nexus, I discovered all these mods, and I thought to myself, well, I built this new computer. It seems like it's pretty capable. I could do a little gaming on it. Let's figure out how this works. And thus began my love affair with modding games. This mod here is a reminder of why I even bother modding. And I don't mean that in a negative way. I mean it in the sense that it's an evolution of modding, if you will. It really is. Now, there were many occasions where I sat there and said to myself while reshading The Witcher, because there's so many different areas, there's so many different flavors to The Witcher. You're going to different regions, different places. Toussaint, Novigrad, White Orchard, Velen, Skellige, Kaer Morhen. And each one had their own different flavor, feel, and the region had something that was unique unto itself. The problem I had with reshades, the only one I could think was, there'd be a couple reshades where they were perfect for a certain area of The Witcher. Like the Vanilla Witcher has so many reshades that are perfect specifically for Novigrad, specifically for the gloomy areas. But then when you get to Toussaint, the reshade kind of loses focus, it loses meaning. It's out of place. And you think like, God, this reshade's so great here. If only I could have a reshade someplace else. You know, like that could switch when I go to different areas. And finally, there's a reshade that does this. Now, this reshade is the Wild Hunt Adaptive Reshade by firemanaf, which stands for Air Force. I thought it was as fuck, you know, but it's Air Force. But it also needs different FX reshade presets for each location by Murzinio. I probably had that wrong, Muzano. Forgive me for not Google translating that beforehand, but I was just in the middle of a sort of monologue, and I figured why bother stopping myself. This here is something I have talked about, and I'm sure many other people sat and thought about, and it's perfect in the sense of it gives you a different flavor for a different region, different strokes for different folks, as Sly and the Family Stone would say. The bare bones is what this reshade does is wherever you go in The Witcher, the reshade changes itself. It even goes as far as into some indoor areas, the reshade changes to accommodate the lighting of the indoor area. This is fantastic. Because if you've used reshades before, you know, some reshades go for great realism on outside at night. It's super dark and all this other stuff. You know, you go, this is immersive as shit. This is great. And then you go into a tavern, and it's so fucking dark in the tavern, you gotta carry around a torch. Even though there's, like, candles everywhere, it's still so dark you need a torch. This was one of the fatal flaws of reshades, because there are just some areas that you couldn't accommodate for. If you had a reshade preset in mind for a certain area, it didn't matter how much tweaking you did. Sometimes it wouldn't adapt to everywhere. But now this reshade has come to light, and I think once it becomes more popular, this could really revolutionize reshades in general, in my opinion. Like, I really think this could be the first step into reshades that are adaptive for all sorts of games. Like, imagine, you know, Fallout with this reshade. Imagine the new Skyrim Enhanced Edition BS with this reshade. When a place consists of different regions and areas that have different geological and geographical circumstances, weather, lighting, etc. Like, it's sunny as fuck, you know, in Africa, obviously, but it's not so sunny in England. It makes perfect sense. It's just amazing. The mod author has taken the time to carefully balance out the image of the reshade. He didn't use effects that would just bog down your system, just the effects that need to achieve the image he wanted. Each region has been slightly adjusted to build off of what CD Projekt Red already did for their area. He made sure not to overdo saturation or make the shadows look like you are walking in the abyss of hell. Contrast and gamma were also slightly adjusted to make sure the image has a good balance between dark and bright. In each region, the mod author has used a separate loot that adjusts the color gradation for the region. Therefore, each region was tested and adjusted for optimal look. So, with this preset, you shouldn't see overblown colors and pitch black shadows. You should find that fires look cozy. Sunsets and sunrises, you will want to stop and look at them. Trees and grass will have a nice shade of green. Interiors will feel warm and inviting. You will find yourself walking the woods of Velen, the farmlands of White Orchard, the mountains of Skellige, the vineyards of Toussaint, and your home of Kermorhen, to just experience the scenery. Feel free to give it a try and see what it has to offer you. He has provided options for the original vanilla lighting and super turbo lighting mod, so whichever floats your boat. All bases have been covered here. And I really don't have any words other than what I have just said. Frankly, if you are looking for a ReShade that adjusts to each area of the game to fully immerse yourself, then this is for you. And also, don't worry, there's an instructional video by the mod author himself that is very simple to follow. And if you have any issues, I'm sure he can troubleshoot it for you. And if you have any issues where it's mod related, the removal of some mods might get rid of the conflicts that there is. I'm currently trying to remember which mod I got rid of that conflicted with this ReShade, but overall, you shouldn't have any problems. Well, that's going to do it for me. Don't forget to rate, comment, subscribe. Thank you as always for tuning into my channel. And